All right, welcome to the April School Board meeting. First thing up is Pledge of Allegiance, so if everybody could please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So glad you all came tonight. Usually it's 3 or 4 people, so thanks for coming. All right, first thing, a couple business items before we get to all the reason you guys came. The board met in executive session beforehand for some personnel and legal issues. Secretary correspondence?
Yeah, I just have to report another obituary. Kenneth Hall passed away actually back around right after the Christmas holidays, and I just found out about it. Mr. Hall was the very first employee ever hired by the Great Valley School Board. I had the pleasure of working with him, and he was our maintenance director from the inception of Great Valley through the late 80s until he retired. He was almost 90. He was actually started out as the clerk of the works, what they call the person that supervises the construction of schools. He was the clerk of the works on what they call the high school additions, which would be the 2 education wings that were added to the high school in 1964 through about 67. And then was hired subsequently in late 68 by the just founded Great Valley School Board. He was actually hired before they hired a superintendent. So unfortunately he passed away. He actually passed away a couple weeks after his wife of 71 years who I knew too, but I just wanted to mention that Mr. Hall, he was a great teacher of me of all sorts of great stories. So some of the stories that you hear me tell from the past, some we were talking about earlier, come from him who actually witnessed them. So now you can only get secondhand information on things from me for some of them.
All right, thank you. Legislative report.
Okay, a lot going on in Harrisburg right now. The governor's proposed budget is something that is being discussed up on the Hill. The priorities within the General Appropriations Act of the budget are education, family sustaining employment, support of local governments, support middle-class families, restrain state spending, and build a rainy day budget reserves. Spending overall looks at about $32.9 billion, $1 billion spending increase on a 3.1 increase. Increase in education spending, this is interesting, $100 million increase in basic education, $40 million increase in pre-K counts and Head Start, $20 million increase for special ed, $15 million increase for the state system of higher education. Those are the colleges and universities like Westchester, Millersville, those schools within the PASHE system. $10 million increase for career and technical education, along with a $74 million increase to serve individuals with intellectual disabilities. Some legislative hot topics. Right now, obviously, school safety is a big one. State Bill 383 is employee gun possession in schools. The bill permits schools to adopt, school boards to adopt policies allowing school personnel to have access to firearms on the ground of a public school. This legislation will not mandate a school's participation, but will give school boards the ability to establish and put into place protocols needed that permit personnel to access firearm on designated school property. It passed the Senate back in June of last year, referred to the House Education. So 26 bills are, so that's just up for, it's a hot topic right now. So there are 26 separate bills now in the House and Senate regarding school safety. Education committees have sent the bill to the PASA and asked for their opinion. Lots of bills, lots of discussion. Some of these bills will move forward independent of a state budget. Some may be rolled into the omnibus school code bill if passed with the budget. Other legislative hot topics, Senate Bill 2, Education Savings Account. This is the same as school vouchers. Amends the school code to establish education savings accounts for eligible students. Parents must apply for the education savings account, and funds will be deposited into the educational institution where the student goes. That is, if you choose to go to a school other than the one that is your designated public district. Eligible students currently enrolled in public school, which has been designated a low-achieving public school. That is the qualification for receiving school vouchers. Students entering kindergarten or the first grade who reside in the attendance area of a public school, which has been designated a low-achieving public school, meaning it's the lowest 15% of performing public schools. And you must enroll in a non-public or school or other approved educational provider. There's only one district in Chester County which qualifies for this right now. A lot of questions around this. What happens to students who reside in the attendance area of a low-performing school if the public school's performance improves or is no longer considered low-performing? So those are some questions that are very valid questions that legislature's trying to work through. The outlook is that Senate Bill 2 remains a high priority in the Senate. There are ongoing efforts to modify the bill, none of which look promising. And when it leaves committee, it will not immediately be taken up. So unknown how it will fare in the House, and the governor said he will veto it. A very interesting and more pertinent legislative hot topic is Senate Bill 660, the Keystone exams. Efforts are underway to provide a menu of options to replace the Keystones as a graduation requirement. Senator McGarrigle is working on an alternative bill to 660 and is expected to be introduced earliest next week. The emphasis is on local decision-making with outside validation. And once there is a consensus, a version of Senate Bill 660 will move through the committee. Some other hot topics, House Bill 1213, which are reverse appeals, which place additional restrictions when taxing districts have the right to appeal an assessment. Under the bill, the taxing district may not appeal an assessment of a property based on several points. House Bill 153, the House of Representatives has amended the Constitution wants to amend the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to reduce the size of the House of Representatives from 213 to 151. We reported on that prior, and it is reported as committed from appropriations. The floor amendment to reduce the Senate as well failed on February 6th. It passed the last section, but the two bills must be the exact same in each house to pass. The last presentation of this passed the House on March 13th, received in the Senate, and referred to the state Senate government. So the Pennsylvania state government, both the House and the Senate, are looking to reduce their numbers of legislators in each body of the state government. And finally, Senate Bill 523, CPR instruction. It requires hands-only 30-minute CPR instruction to state education curriculum for high school students as a requirement for graduation. And then still in the courts, the redistricting, as you know, that it was kind of a volley back and forth between the GOP filed the lawsuit to stop the PA Supreme Court from drawing the congressional map. The federal courts denied the stay of implementation and gave both parties back until March 9th to prepare arguments. The U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear the case until it goes to federal courts. The candidate for U.S. Congressional House seats began to file on Tuesday, February 28th, and the state GOP and legislators threatened to impeach the PA Supreme Court justices. Long story short, it went as far as the U.S. Supreme Court sent it back and said, we will not hear it because this is a state constitutional effort, and that is decided within the state. And as of now, it resides that the U.S. legislative districts within the Commonwealth are the ones that were drawn up by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and that is not going anywhere right now. Aside from that, this is the last thing I'll report on. At the Pennsylvania Department of Education, the charter school tuition guidelines are on filing have been rescinded. Existing charter school law will be the guidelines for determination. School districts and charter schools will need to work out disputes, and this is on the charter school tuition filing with the PDE. School districts are receiving requests from charter schools for tuition modifications, and it's having an effect on delaying charter school legislation from moving forward. So that's basically what's going on in Pennsylvania right now. There are a lot of bills out there, an awful lot of them, and we're just trying to really offer up to you the ones that seem to be the most pertinent and affect us at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mrs. Armstrong's online to give us a facilities update. We can do student council first. All right, student council first. Charlestown Elementary's up first on my list, so you guys could come over to this podium.
Hello, my name is Sophia Hall, and I'm Student Council President. Today we are going to share an update on all the projects we have worked on at Charlestown Elementary School. First, let me begin by talking about the Statisticism project. This was a project that we did near Christmas time to give families in need an awesome Christmas. These families are less fortunate than us, so our school came together to support them.
Hello, my name is Sebastian Davis, and I'm the Vice President of Student Council. Tonight, I'll be talking about helping our gym teacher, Mr. Steve, with setting up Field Day. The theme for Field Day is Saluting Our Heroes, First Responders. The teams for this theme are the police officers, firefighters, and animal rescue, armed forces, and doctors. We are excited to help Mr. Steve to make sure the students enjoy this day.
Hello, my name is Dr. Gunlam, and I'm the Secretary of Student Council. Tonight I'll be talking about our PSSA encouragement notes. We know how nerve-wracking the PSSAs can be, especially for the third graders, so we made notes with encouraging words and phrases for every third, fourth, and fifth grader student taking the PSSAs. The goal of this project is to give the CT students confidence and encouragement before they take the tests. Hi, my name is Lauren Doherty, and I'm the Treasurer of Student Council. Tonight, I will be talking about the Wishing Project. For years, Charlestown Elementary has hosted a Carnation for Cancer sale. This year, we decided to try something new. This new activity was called the Wishing Project. The Wishing Project was an activity where Charlestown students, families, and staff could donate money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in an effort to give a child who is very sick a dream come true. Dreams such as a trip to Disney World or going to meet their favorite athletes. Recently, we received a letter from this foundation. It reads, "On behalf of the children and families we serve, thank you for your generous gift of $2,556.98 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. For children who are battling critical illnesses, the Wish journey is more than a trip or a momentary experience. This is the catalyst for the lifelong inspiration." Megan, now 23, reflected back to when she was going through treatment and the Make-A-Wish came into her life. "Before I took the trip, I was hesitant that my life would ever get back to normal. By having her wish granted, Megan saw how many people were by her side cheering for her to get better. The trip itself helped Megan and her family establish a return to normalcy." Megan added, "I am now in complete remission and happily making my way through pharmacy school. I am forever grateful for how the Make-A-Wish Foundation gave me a positive outlook on my life and taught me to always keep fighting." This amount is 3 times the amount we raised each year for the Carnation sale. Our project was a huge success. It was incredible to know we made a difference in our community.
All right, thank you. All right, next on my list is Sugartown Elementary.
Good evening, school board members and Dr. Polovinsky. My name is Rachel Mirren, and I am the Sugartown Elementary Student Council President. I've enjoyed being a member of the Student Council for 3 years, and I'm excited to bring my experience to middle school next year, too. Thank you for allowing us to tell you all about what is happening at Sugartown. In March, Sugartown donated $1,562.24 to the American Heart Association. Here are a few fun things that we did to collect these donations. First, Student Council ran a pencilgram to collect money and inspire acts of kindness. A pencilgram is a gift of kind words and a pencil attached. Students wrote their messages on a heart and attached a pencil to it and sent this off to others in the building for a donation of 50 cents. Next, all of our school participated in the Jump Rope for Heart, which is led by the American Heart Association and our gym teachers. We set heart-healthy goals like promising to drink more water or to eat more healthy foods like fruits and vegetables and trying to put in more exercise every day. We closed this month in activities with a big jump off where parents and teachers helped us do fun jump rope activities together. Last, we had a penny war among grade levels. We put pennies into jars to raise money for the American Heart Association, but any silver coins we had, we put them in other grades levels jars. This took away credit for the pennies in the credit, but in the end, everyone was a winner. Next, I'd like to pass the microphone to our Student Council Vice President, Ryan Rossi.
Oh, you can't move this thing? Hello and good evening. My name is Ryan Rossi. I am the Sugartown Student Council Vice President. Our school has a lot of talented people, and we have fun showing off these talents in many ways. In early March, our school put on their spring musical, Johnny Appleseed. This is when 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders get out to try out for certain parts in the play. Many students participated in the after-school rehearsals and 2 final shows, one during the day for our school to enjoy and one in the evening for our parents. It was a great success. We are lucky enough to have music concerts for every grade level too. Our concerts are more than just singing, they are a show. In April, we heard 2nd and 3rd grades' performance It's a Hit. This show had solo parts, which group songs, whole group in my bed, and even student speaking roles. It was all about baseball to get us all in the mood for spring. Speaking of the arts, Sugartown will have their first Arts Night on April 27th. You are all invited to come see a piece of artwork displayed from every student in our school. Even some of the teachers will share their talents. We'll have original poems read by students and faculty in the library, student instrumental performances in the dining room, and artwork everywhere. Doors open at 6 and close at 8. And now I'd like to introduce our secretary, Abby Zober.
Hi, I'm Abby Zoba, and I'm the Sugartown Student Council Secretary. It's been a lot of fun being a 5th grader at Sugartown. We are given so many opportunities to show responsibility. I am also a member of the safeties that make sure that the students get on their buses at the end of the day safely. It feels good to help out as the big kid at Sugartown. The younger students come to us for help, and we can model for the younger students to show how they can grow up and be helpful too. At Sugartown, we have a lot of activities that inspire healthy competition where everyone is a winner. Rachel told you about our penny wars. That was a lot of fun competing to see who would get the most points. In May, our school has the ultimate school-wide competition, our field day. We have fun at participating in events like dress-up rally races and field games with foam bats and squishy balls. At the end of the day, we all gather around and cheer us 5th graders as we have a game of tug-of-war. Even the teachers get into it with their own tug-of-war event. Even though there's one group that's called the first place winner, we all learn from the fun exercise and the laughs that we get with our friends at Sugartown. I will miss this day a lot next year. Now I'd like to introduce our treasurer, Will Mack.
Hi, I'm Will Mack, the Sugartown Student Council Treasurer. We are lucky enough to have an amazing parent-teacher organization at Sugartown. One of the best things they do for us is plan the greatest spring fair. They always make a fun theme. Everyone gets involved. The parents, students, and teachers help run events and activities. If you're looking for a fun family night filled with arcade games, good food, silent auction goodie baskets that we all would love to win, and even a chance to come out and get the student council members wet at the pitch burst game, then head over to Sugartown in May. Thank you for inviting us to your meeting to share about our Sugartown.
All right, got a busy night. Middle school's up next.
Can move this up. Good evening to the board, Dr. Speaker Paul Vinsky, parents, teachers, and Great Valley community members. I'm Rose Baheen, the 8th grade student council president.
Hi, I'm Kate, the 8th grade vice president.
Hi, I'm Jugot, the 8th grade secretary.
Hi, I'm Avery, I'm the 8th grade treasurer.
I'm Megan, I'm the 7th grade president.
I'm Sophia, I'm the 7th grade vice president. I'm Lauren, I'm the 7th grade secretary.
I'm Mia, the 7th grade treasurer.
The 3rd annual Student Council Chili Cook-Off was held on Friday, February 3rd. It was an amazing evening. 23 chili entries were submitted to the Chili Cook-Off. 115 community members enjoyed the tasting session after the chili meal. After the meal, everyone enjoyed the Super Bowl trivia questions. We are looking forward to next year's Chili Cook-Off, and we are excited to be hosting this again for many years to come.
Students purchased Valentine's Day cards for their friends in February. Students were able to write a positive note. Also, National Engineers Week was a lot of fun this February. Many students participated in the paper airplane engineering competition before school.
The annual father-daughter dance is scheduled for April 20th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. There will be music, dancing, bingo, snacks, and more. Students can also vote on the school website which songs they want to hear at the dance. We are currently selling tickets at lunch, and there will be tickets available at the door. Male student council reps are invited to help with the dance.
Our most recent Spirit Day was held on Friday, April 6th. We invited all students to wear their favorite MLB Major League Baseball jersey to school. It was a great turnout, and we had a ride with a lucky student that won a $5 Wawa gift card for wearing their jersey.
On May 15th, many student council reps and officers will attend the Region F conference at Bala Cynwyd Middle School. There will be around 600 middle and high school student council members at the conference. We learn leadership skills and brainstorm ideas for our upcoming school year. We also hear from an inspirational speaker who will teach us about how to become better young leaders.
Student council elections will be held in May. Our 4 positions are up for election for the incoming 7th graders: president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. They will make posters and a video of their speech which will be showed to their classmates. At the end of May, 6th grade will be able to vote for the new student council officers. We have continued to hold many monthly general council meetings. Our 135 representatives from 3 grades can bring ideas along with them to our student body to help improve our council. The meetings are held on the 3rd Thursday of every month and are always a great bonding time for our council. Our last general student council meeting will be held in May. The 8th grade is very excited to attend the DC dance. 8th grade reps recently had a choice of 2 themes for our dance, and it was either Hawaiian or Starry Night, and since the voting was close, we decided to combine the 2 themes into a night in Hawaii. So, yeah. So we're already planning decorations for the night, and we're excited. So we'd like to thank you all for the opportunities you provide us at the middle school. Thank you for your time and have a good night.
Wow, that's all I have to say. Kids are busier than I am, so. And thank you for all the money you guys raised for all those charities. That's wonderful too, so. It's very much appreciated by the community. We have a couple more reports, and then we'll get to all the recognitions, and hopefully everybody can stay around for that, and that shouldn't take very long, and then you can go home before we get into the real exciting stuff, So real fast, I think Mrs. Armstrong's on for a facilities update.
I am. Am I unmuted?
You're good.
Did Chuck unmute? Okay, good. So the Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, April the 10th of this year, 2018. The committee reviewed the 5- and 10-year projected plans for facilities maintenance, including the need for long-term funding. We talked about the unforeseen projects that are currently underway and included generator for the technology room at the high school, the sports field maintenance at the high school, replacement equipment for maintenance, and the electrical panel in the Great Valley High School auditorium. We also reviewed some new projects on the facilities maintenance plan, including the roofing at the high school, the water main at the high school, and the fire panel at the General Wayne Elementary School. We did take a look at the possible installation of HVAC at the Sugartown Elementary School gymnasium. Just for some history, Sugartown was the last school renovated in 2005, and the architects and administration recommend that the district not install air conditioning at this time in Sugartown's gym. And part of the reasons that we looked at this, the rationale for this recommendation includes the following. Like General Wayne and Great Valley High School, where the gyms are also not air-conditioned, Sugartown has an alternative space for large group activities. The large air-conditioned cafeteria at Sugartown was previously used as a gym prior to 2003 and satisfies all ADA requirements and provides an ample space for students if they need to use it. Principals routinely move events into the alternate spaces as the need for air conditioning dictates. We looked at the cost to retrofit the gymnasiums at Sugartown, General Wayne, and Great Valley with air conditioning. To do that, it would require that we hire an engineer who would then need to analyze the structurability and overall capability of the existing designs to accommodate changes. And unfortunately, that's a pretty significant expense. And for those of you who've taken a look at our 5- and 10-year plans in the Facilities Committee, that's just not an expense at this time that we can absorb. And along with that, the trending increase of our elementary population makes it likely that we're going to need to do some kind of renovations to one or more of our existing buildings in the next 3 to 5 years. So at that time, when we take a look at those renovations, we're going to have to do an evaluation of our existing ventilation systems anyway. So that's when it makes sense to take a look at whether or not air conditioning at that time or any other kind of upgrades would be necessary. So in summary, right now we don't find it prudent to make changes to the HVAC system at this time at any of those buildings. We've asked that administration and the principals will be reminded to use alternative spaces when necessary because of the temperature, because those spaces should meet the ADA requirements. If anybody else from the committee has any other comments, I would love to have them at this time. I also just want to caution everyone again to take a look at our facilities budget and to be very familiar with it. I know we have not gone into a lot of detail with the 5- and 10-year planning, but there are a lot of expensive projects. This year we're over $500,000 in unplanned expenses. So we are, as we knew that we would be, entering that time when a lot of that deferred maintenance is coming due. So if anyone else has any other comments?
I have a couple questions, Jen.
Sure.
So when you're talking, are we talking about potentially looking at air conditioning everything in Sugartown that is not already air conditioned? It's my assumption that there's only one area that's air conditioned. Am I wrong?
That's my understanding, is it's that one area. Part of the other issue with the possible renovations is that if we would ever need to add anything onto the building, anything that we put outside would have to be then taken out again. And since it is the opinion that we might need to take a look within the next 3 to 5 years to spend that much money on taking a look at that now, and when we're going to have to do it when we look at the building, it just doesn't make sense, given the fact that there's alternative space.
Just a point of clarification, the building is air conditioned, it's simply the gym that is not simply, but it's not only the
one area.
cafeteria that's air conditioned.
Thank you, that did clarify it, thank you.
Yeah, Jen, this is Samantha.
Was there anything else? You said you had a couple.
Actually, Amy clarified the second part of that, and then Samantha has a question for you, dear.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a comment. As a new board member, I certainly have learned a lot being on this committee, and there's a lot of important work going on. And as you mentioned, I don't think we can understate the amount of projects that have been deferred over the past few years that need to be done to ensure proper maintenance of our schools. So I think it's important that we all be aware of that going forward. And Jen, thanks for that very thorough report from the meeting. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yep, thanks, Jen. All right, any other reports?
Okay.
I just have 2 seconds for the CCIU. We voted prior to the last election for the 2018 nominees for the CCIU board. We have the newly elected board members now will need to ratify the district's nominees. So each school district puts up one designee to represent on the board, and Great Valley elected me. We voted prior to the election. You have a sheet in your folder that gives you the name and a little bio on each district representative that now needs to be ratified. So the CCIU, there's no one running against. We each get to pick one, and they're listed on the sheet. So if our newly elected board members could ratify that vote and turn it in, that would be helpful. That's it. Thank you. Oh, and the CCIU board meets on Wednesday, day after tomorrow, and I will be in attendance.
All right. I just have one other report, a negotiation update, which is also response to a question we had last meeting. We are 3 months into formal negotiation process between the Great Valley School District and its union, the Great Valley Education Association, and we wanted to provide an update. Formal negotiations began in January, and like many schools across the state and country, we are following a corporate-based model in which school board members are not actively sitting at the negotiation table. Instead, professional negotiators are working out details of proposals based on the board's goals and direction. The board continually receives verbal and written updates and continues to guide our negotiators based on our clearly defined goals. We have published our 4 primary goals on our website. They were ratified back in January. We have a tremendous respect for our teachers. This is evidenced in part by the fact that their salaries remain the highest of any public school district in Chester County, while our student-teacher ratios are among the lowest. In addition, our teachers' health care package is the most premium of any school district within our county. We entered optimistically into negotiations and will continue to bargain with a positive attitude. At the same time, we need to work within the financial limits and realities. According to the Act 1 Index, our school district can't raise taxes by more than 2.4% for the coming school year without taking that increase to a referendum, voter referendum. If an agreement between the union and the school board can't be reached by August 15th, both sides have agreed that we will ask for the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Board to appoint a neutral fact finder. We remain hopeful that an agreement can be reached that is mutually beneficial to the school district and its teachers. This statement will be elaborated and placed on the GVSD website at the conclusion of this meeting. All right, that's the boring stuff. Let's get into the fun stuff. Student recognition. All right.
Oh, no, I don't need the stool, Dr. O'Toole, I'm good. Is Ken, where's Ken? Jimmy, you might as well come up too, just because you'd be with him. Ken Morris is our Assistant Supervisor of Building and Grounds, and he has been approved for his initial status as a Pennsylvania Registered School Business Specialist by the Board of Directors for the Pennsylvania Association of School Business Officials. Mr. Morris has been employed for, I can't remember how long, tell me how long. Almost 13 years. I knew that. I can only remember the guy that was the first Building and Grounds supervisor. But in order to be granted this, Mr. Morris's professional status, he must meet high personal, ethical, and professional standards as established by the program. They include a formal education, experience, and other continuing education. And now that he's attained this registration, it must be renewed every 4 years. In addition to his current position with the district, Ken's currently serving as, I believe, the vice president for the Delaware Valley Association of School Plant Managers, which is a 5 or 9 county area group of guys that get around and talk about grass seed and plumbing. So real fun, good. So congratulations, Ken, and we'll should have. Who's,
Sorry.
yes, Charlestown. Jamie, is that? Sorry.
On March 14th, over 50 4th and 5th graders represented Charlestown, Katie Markley, Sugartown, and General Wayne elementary schools at the Chester County Science Fair. This was the culmination of more than 4 months of work. During the winter months, these students worked tirelessly as they took detailed observations, analyzed their results, and in many cases, asked more questions that needed yet another experiment to answer. Their hard work, careful analysis, and scientific thinking were rewarded when they were selected as one of the 10 best projects from their elementary school, and were invited to take part in the Chester County Science Fair. Competing against more than 200 projects from students all around the county, several of these projects won honors and awards. These students are here with us tonight, as well as their projects which line the hallway outside of the boardroom. These students exhibit a passion for science that we as a community should embrace, encourage, and cultivate. We all hope that these young students continue to pursue their love for science in the years to come. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize the students from Charlestown who earned awards and honors at the Chester County Science Fair. When I say your name, you can come forward. From 5th grade, Milan Agarwala. In 4th grade, Michael Schlorf. In 4th grade, Julia Cook. Also in 4th grade, McKenna Thomas. And also in 4th grade, Lucas Mercurio. Congratulations to these members of the Charlestown Science Fair. I'm so proud of all of these scientists for their hard work and dedication to their projects. I hope that they learned a lot and had a little fun along the way.
I'd like to continue with the Science Fair recognition with the kids from Sugartown, who also got awards and honors from the county fair. We have Andy Colvin from 4th grade. Ryan Caterino from 4th grade. Armand Maida from 5th grade. And Tyler Holmes from 5th grade. Congratulations.
It is my absolute pleasure to acknowledge the following 4th and 5th graders from Katie Markley Elementary. In 5th grade, we have Anaga Gopi Vallabha. Bryce DePrinzio. Connor Scargill. And in 4th grade, we have Ishan Joshi. Reva Bhatt. Shraddha Arvind. And Nandana Pagila.
And it is my honor to introduce the following students from General Wayne. In 5th grade, Katie Borger. Also in 5th grade, Abner Gonzalez. In 4th grade, Ben Oswald. A team, Ellie McClellan and Laura Duvall. And finally in 4th grade, Elsa Romig.
Come on up, Paul. Yeah.
Good evening to all. My name is Paul Jerome. I'm the head basketball coach at the high school, and I have brought along 3 special young men with me. These are 3 senior captains of the basketball team this year. To the left is Mr. Nate Grafe. Liam Ward in the middle. and Matt Parecka behind me here. Don't misconstrue their smiles. It's got nothing to do with basketball recognition. They are seniors at the end of April. We're very happy. Yeah. The basketball season over the last 2 years, and all three of these young men were starters the last 2 years, accumulated over 37 wins, wound up playing in 9 district playoff games and 1 state tournament game. These three young men represented our team beautifully throughout these 2 years, and especially this year as being leaders and captains of the team. They're truly special people. I had the privilege to teach them English in 9th grade, so they said that they would all come up and give speeches of about 6 minutes in length, but that will happen after the board meeting. They have to stick around for that. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about each of them. To my left with Nate, we called him Mr. Inside because if you ever watch Nate play, he scored mostly on the inside of the court because of his strength. He was our second leading scorer the last 2 years. This year he was also selected, and last year, as second team all-league player. And he has earned the distinction of moving on next year as a freshman in college to Millersville University, not to play basketball, but to play football. Congratulations to Nate. Liam in the middle was our leading scorer the last 2 years. And last year as a junior, at the end of the season, he was selected by the coaches as the player of the year. This year, he backed that up with being a first-team player, all Chestmont, and also recently named by the Daily Local as an all-area second-team player. I forgot to mention Nate was also selected as an honorable mention player. Liam was a terrific player. If you came out to see any of the games, he's the guy that was always dunking the ball. And, he generated a lot of excitement during these past 2 years. We're going to miss him tremendously. He's going to move on to play basketball in college at Guilford College in North Carolina. Congratulations to Liam. Lastly, Matt Parecka, again, also a 2-year starter. This year named second team all-league. He was the guy that made it go. If we didn't have him, we would never be able to get the ball up the court. But Matt had an all-round game. He was a scorer. He led our team in assists the last 2 years. And as I said, he was also nominated as a second team all-league player. And again, it sounds repetitive, and yes, they're going together. He will also be playing basketball next year at Guilford College in North Carolina. Congratulations to Matt. I look at a lot of film during the year, and there was always a familiar face bobbing up in the background there, and that was Dr. P, who came out to see us oftentimes this year, and we appreciate her support. Thank you to the board for the recognition. It was a terrific last 2 years.
Good evening. I bring greetings from the music department at the high school, myself, Ms. Fisher, and also Ms. Fisher and her husband's new baby, Reese. She was born on Saturday night. Yeah. So the Great Valley High School Music Department is honored to have so many dedicated, passionate, and outstanding musicians who auditioned for Pennsylvania Music Educator Association honors ensembles and festivals. These students spend months developing skills, honing specific techniques in preparation for a competitive audition process against peers from 3 counties and then from across the state. This past year, we had 40 students who auditioned for ensembles initially. 20 were selected for districts. We recognized them earlier this year. Of them, 6 of them were recognized and participated in the Region Festival, and 3 were selected for All-State honors. The Region and All-State are the peak level of performance throughout the state, especially in our area. The development of this level of musicianship is enhanced as students move through all levels of Great Valley, as music teachers in elementary and middle schools provide foundational understandings and learnings that are necessary to scaffold to higher levels. The high school music faculty would like to acknowledge and thank our colleagues in K through 8th grade as they do important work to this end. We'd also like to thank the building administration, Mr. Foote, the district office administration, and the school board for their support of vision, opportunity, resources, and encouragement, which allows so many students to flourish. We'd also like to thank the parents. You encourage from the initial squeaks and squawks, provide lots and lots of off-hour transportation, and come to support so many concerts. And I finally would like to congratulate the students. We wish you well in future auditions and performances, and we will be taking the All-State musicians on Wednesday this week, and they'll go and audition and perform this coming Saturday in Lancaster. I think we can just do all 3 groups at once, especially because half of them are still over at the high school doing Tear Down from the musical, so, yeah. So here tonight we have for All-State Band and Region Orchestra and Region Band, Hannah Atlas. Region Orchestra and Region Band, Cole Nikes. And Region Orchestra and All-State Orchestra, Hannah Yoon. And the other 3 couldn't be here, but Jovan Lee was in Region Orchestra, Consuelo Lee made Region Orchestra and All-State Orchestra, and Alana Babbitt made Region Choir.
Decide to go home. I'm going to let our student rep from the high school give an update of what's going on in the high school so you can appreciate what you're going to look forward to when you get to that age. Such great things going on in the elementary school.
So it's prom season. So what that means is the guys are going out and trying to get some suits that look right, and the girls are going out trying to get some dresses that fit right. Everyone's really excited for it. So today they announced the official price of the tickets for the junior prom, which are $40, and junior prom is on the 28th of April. Senior prom tickets aren't officially out for the price, but senior prom is on May 18th. Unfortunately, due to some resources or just some issues with conflicts, the variety show is not able to be put on this year, but we are still, the people who are in charge of that, the directors, are still using the funds to help go towards their charity. Also, No More Club is working on getting their presentation and their assembly totally in order. What No More Club is kind of like domestic abuse, social abuse, and it kind of works hard to get that message out and spread the word for that. And that is coming up in a couple weeks. The mock crash is also this week for all junior students. When I was speaking with some senior students about it also, they expressed some concern because they believe that since there's no after prom specifically for seniors, they feel that the message for the mock crash should also go towards seniors as well. So not only juniors, but also with the seniors since there's no after prom and they will be going on afterwards. I'd also like to thank Millie Field. For those who don't know, I was in the musical, and what that means is I missed all of these meetings for the past couple months, unfortunately, and she really graciously filled in for me, and I'm really appreciative of that, and everyone who's out came out and supported the musical. So I'm really happy to be back, and thank you guys all for coming.
And it has to be said that the musical was awesome, and you were awesome, so congratulations.
Dave, before you dismiss everybody, I just want to say how grateful I am to be part of this community. We have amazing children who do amazing things. They are kind, they're wonderful, they're supportive, and they really are give back. Keep serving the community. The world needs people like all of us. So keep it up, and thank you very much. Tonight was really pleasurable for me.
All right, we'll take a 2-minute break while you gather your parents.
Hey, Dave, just in the spirit of recognition, before everybody scatters, I also just want to say thank you to all the teachers and counselors and all the staff of the district. Many of you are in the room tonight. It's been a rough week, and you were all there for our kids and our community, so thank you.
All right, now if you want to gather your parents and go home and study or something. All right, let's get started. Excuse me. Hello. Can we get started so we can go home tonight? All right, I get to do it again. There you go. That worked again. All right. All right, next thing up is the superintendent report.
And again, you'll recognize some of the same names and the same events. Again, this is just a very high-level sharing of some amazing accomplishments of our students and our staff. The Monster Mile, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Linderman. The Monster Mile Design Youth Challenge, Gavin Stewart, and there's a picture of Gavin, 5th grade student at Katie Markley Elementary School, is a finalist for the 2018 Monster Mile Design Youth Challenge. The challenge is hosted annually by Dover International Speedway. It's a free project for 5th grade students, and it combines the thrills of NASCAR with the skills of art, creativity, and design. Gavin was one of 1,400 entries from Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. If Gavin's submission is selected as the winning entry, his design will be featured on the pace car at Dover Downs. So to get to this level is pretty amazing. The American Invitational Mathematics exam, 3 Great Valley High School students qualified for the exam. Sophomores Kenny Yang, Alan Zhu, and senior Dan Chen. The AMC is the oldest and most prestigious mathematics competition for high school and middle school students. It is designed to provide an opportunity for students to develop positive attitudes toward analytical thinking and mathematics that can assist them in future careers. Our Great Valley Middle School Math Counts, after earning the highest written record score in the Chester County Math Counts competition earlier this year, 8th grade student Justin Wang competed at the state level at the end of March. In that competition, Justin placed 34th out of 143 students. Another amazing accomplishment. In the Math 24 competition, 4th grade student Danny Gardner and 5th grade student Milan Agarwala, who was here earlier today, recently won the Charlestown Math 24 competition. Both students will now represent Charlestown in May at the Chester County competition at the IU. Also, Milan, repeat award winner, and his team 92X participated in the 2018 VEX Robotics State Championship, where they won the VEX IQ Excellent Award, which is the highest award for the VEX IQ Challenge. With this recognition, the state will advance to the VEX Robotics World Championship. I have a feeling we will be seeing Milan's name many times in the future. Engaging our community in Charlestown, Mikkel LaRouque, a Charlestown parent and former National Hockey League player, visited Charlestown Elementary School and spoke with students about his experiences and about the game itself. He also took time and played hockey with each of the 5th grade classes as part of the students' PE lessons. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mr. Piquel and Dr. O'Toole may also have participated in that endeavor. We had an author visit at General Wayne Elementary School. Kwani Alexander came to visit the General Wayne students to share his latest book release, Rebound. Alexander is a Newbery Medal Award winner, educator, poet, and New York Times best-selling author of 25 books. So it was a great opportunity for students and staff to have an opportunity to meet with Mr. Alexander. At the middle school, students Cassidy Mitchell and Stephanie Getz represented GVCO and its Caring Hands Service Group earlier this month when they presented $1,000 worth of gift cards from Giant Supermarket to Great Valley Middle School. The gift cards are intended to help middle school families who may be in need of assistance. Many thanks to the team of volunteers from Caring Hands and GVCO to provide this support to our Great Valley Middle School families. As was stated earlier by the Sugartown Student Council, Sugartown Elementary School held its Jump Rope for Heart to benefit the American Heart Association, donating more than $1,500 to help those in need. For this year, we had 5 events scheduled as part of our community conversations, building a healthy and safe school community. Previously, we had a presentation on distracted driving. On Wednesday evening of this week, there is a presentation involving school safety, and it's a community meeting. That is being held at the Great Valley High School on April 18th at 6:30 p.m. If anyone has any questions that they would like answered at that forum, we will have members of legislation, our own school district representatives, including pupil service director and our safety director, as well as mental health professionals joining us there, and the event is facilitated by our Great Valley High School students. In advance of the panel discussion, again, Mrs. Blake is collecting questions, and if anyone would like to submit questions by the end of the day tomorrow, those questions will be answered by the panel members. The other events, the 3 additional opportunities this spring are available on our website to register. Clearing the Air About Vaping is Monday, April 23rd at 6:30. Winning the Mental Game in School and in Sports, that event is a rescheduled event that was snowed out originally. And then the Healthy Community Panel discussion is being held Tuesday, June 5th. The entire series is part of our efforts to bring together our community around conversations of being healthy and safe. We plan on doing this yearly, so it will continue, and as topics become, rise to the level of concerted interest, we'll add those to our list. Our spring concerts, and again, I can't stress enough how wonderful it is to have the opportunity to see our many students' talents. Our spring concerts, April 25th, General Wayne first grade concert. May 2nd, the middle school spring instrumental concert. May 9th, district elementary band concert. That's held at General Wayne Elementary School. And Sugartown K1 vocal concert. May 10th, the district elementary band concert, again held at General Wayne. Middle school spring choral concert is held at the high school. May 16th, the district elementary orchestra concert. There is a show 9:15 a.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. at General Wayne. Additional upcoming events, the Special Education Panel or Parent Advisory Council will be holding executive functioning presentation, and that's being held tomorrow evening right here in this room. April 19th is the middle school 5th grade parent orientation night. April 20th, General Wayne Earth Day Assembly and the middle school father-daughter dance. April 26th, the Sugartown kindergarten orientation at 2 o'clock. April 28th, as Tyler mentioned, the high school junior prom. May 4th, Charlestown Spring Fair and Katie Markley Field Day. May 7th through 11th is the middle school Henlopen trip. May 14th, General Wayne kindergarten orientation. May 16th, the high school senior dinner. May 17th, Charlestown kindergarten orientation, high school senior awards. May 18th, we have a plethora of events. Katie Markley kindergarten orientation, Charlestown barbecue, General Wayne Field Day, Katie Markley Spring Fair, Sugartown Spring Fair, and the high school senior prom. We all must right now pray for great weather on the 18th. And May 20th, Patriot Pride 5K at the Great Valley High School track. As you can see, we are not short of amazing things happening in Great Valley in the spring.
All right. All right, right now I'm going to open up the microphone for public comment on any items that are on the agenda this evening for voting on. There'll be another public comment section, excuse me, at the end of the meeting for any other comments. If you have a comment, please come to the podium, state your name, residency, and please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes or less so others may participate. And just a quick reminder, this is a comment session, not a question and answer session.
It's Bruce Chambers, 17 James Thomas Road. I have a statement I'll read to you, and I'll also send this to you by electronic when I get back home. I want you to reject the preliminary budget. As we've seen from some of the stuff on the screen tonight, Great Valley is a good academic school district, but it also needs to be fiscally responsible with the taxpayers' money by delivering a cost-effective education to our children. This budget doesn't do that. The budget is a 39% increase from just 6 years ago, an increase of over $30 million. This is at least 3 times the increase in cost of living. These are incredible numbers. Yet the administration points to no improvements from the increased spending, nor do they justify the need for it, other than to say they need it and then predict dire consequences if they don't get it. What improvements have we seen with the additional $30 million? None that I have seen. In the last 4 years, you've raised our property taxes over 6%, yet you also received another 8% increase in tax revenue from the increased property assessments. So you actually received a 14% increase over those 4 years. In an economy with virtually no inflation, there should have been no tax increase. For this budget, it's even worse. There will be at least a 4.2% increase in property assessments this year alone. Yet, the administration wants another 2.4% increase in our property taxes. So, they will receive a 6.6% increase in tax revenue. But wait, that's not all. They also want $4 million in debt retirement money that won't be needed for debt so they can spend it on other things. That represents another 5.3% increase in tax revenue. So in reality, they are asking you for an 11.9% increase in revenue. That's a ridiculous number. In the last year, I have presented all the cost per student numbers in the county, and the administration has acknowledged that they spend more than other districts. They've said they would address it, but they haven't done anything. Instead, they're asking for more money. We spend more money per student than any other district in the county, $24,000 per student. If you pass this budget, that number goes to $25,000. If you spent the same per student as TE, you could reduce the budget by $16 million, which would represent a 20% tax cut. Unionville would be a $12 million cut, or a 16% tax cut. Westchester would be $16 million, or a 20% tax cut. Owen J. Roberts would be $20 million, or a 26% tax cut. And Downingtown would be $28 million, or a 37% tax cut. Does the administration display these figures during meetings? No, they don't. Let's look at another financial decision made by the administration and agreed to by the board. In 2016, the administration negotiated a 2-year contract with the teachers. The public was told by the administration and the board that it was a reasonable and fiscally sustainable contract. Well, how did it work out? It was a disaster. Salaries and benefits in the district have increased by almost 17% in just 2 years. How do our salaries compare to other districts? Well, just look at Unionville. the district which beats us every year in academics. Their new contract is for 4 years. In the fourth year of their contract, which is 2023, their teachers will be making many thousands less than what our teachers are making this year. For example, a teacher with a master's degree at the top of the pay scale will make
Bruce, I'm gonna have to
12,000.
ask you to,
2 more minutes.
nope, it's been 4
I
already.
got 2 more sentences, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Sorry. Now I lost my place. The new contract is for 4 years. In the fourth year of the contract, 2023, their teachers will be making many thousands less than what our teachers will be making this year. For example, a teacher with a master's degree at the top of pay scale will make $12,000 less than what you are currently paying the equivalent teacher in Great Valley today. I would repeat that, but I've run out of time. So I'm asking you, these numbers are breathtaking. There's no reason we need to be spending this money to be as successful as other districts in the county. If this had happened in a public corporation, the executives would be looking for a new job. But here what we find is the administration just asks for more and more money. So please reject the budget. And if anybody wants a comparison of the salary schedules, I have them here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other public comments on any voting agenda items?
Good evening, everyone. I'll be short, because I am. My name is Randy Palmasino. My wife Irene and I chose to move to the Malin Station neighborhood 16 years ago. I work from a home office and Irene is on the road for her job, so we could have moved anywhere in the Delaware Valley. We chose Malvern in large part to the reputation of Great Valley schools. Pay no mind that it was conveniently just far enough from our parents to prevent unannounced visits, but still close enough for emergency babysitting. I may not tell you anything that you don't already know, as I suspect most of us here have or have had children educated in the school district. However, it may help to have another voice to serve as a reminder. Irene and I are very proud to have 2 sons graduating in a few weeks, Derek from the high school and Ryder from General Wayne. Remember that Great Valley is not competing just against other school districts in attracting and maintaining great talent, but the teaching profession as a whole is competing against other professions in attracting talent. Our children are now in the pool of a global economy. How do we prepare to compete, our children to compete, survive, and thrive in this new age? And whose shoulders bear the burden of this preparation? Parents, yes, but make no mistake on the impact of a teacher. Again, nothing you haven't heard before, just a reminder. My wife was not able to be here in person, but asked that I pass on a few words. So in her words, as a parent of a senior at Great Valley High School and a 5th grader at General Wayne, I'm here to ask the school board to take an active part in ensuring that we keep the high-quality teachers and staff that our school district is known for. We moved to this area 16 years ago in part due to the Great Valley School District's reputation, and although we still believe we made the right choice in coming here, we have seen some of the budget cut changes already implemented now that we have been at General Wayne for the 2nd time around with our younger son. The class sizes are bigger than when our older son was there, and they no longer have the advanced math classes that they used to offer. We've actually had neighbors move out of our school district already due to these 2 changes. So our teachers are not having to work with not only larger class sizes, but also find a way to keep those larger classes engaged while working with students in varying academic levels. I fully believe that it would be detrimental to our students to have class sizes any larger than they already are in the elementary schools. Our teachers don't just teach the curriculum, they take the time to get to know our kids, their learning habits, what motivates them, et cetera, and then take the time to communicate with the parents to make sure we are all on the same page. These are all part of what helps ensure the success of our students. The support staff at our schools are also invaluable. Both of our sons have severe food allergies and asthma, and having a certified school nurse on site is a necessity. Shout out to Mrs. Giltonen at General Wayne, and she has a whole process for ensuring that she has our son's medications for any emergencies that could arise and communicates with the teachers regarding the severity of those allergies. And having a certified school nurse on site at all levels is a necessity, as unfortunately we did have one major incident at the high school. A few years ago, my older son purchased a brownie from the high school cafeteria that was not labeled as having peanut butter in it. He had purchased and eaten brownies in the cafeteria before with no issue. But that day, the cafeteria decided to serve peanut butter brownies, but did not label them as such. He went to the school nurse after eating it. He knew it tasted differently than the brownies they had purchased before, but not ever having had peanut butter, did not know what the taste was. As a side note, there were actually several students that ended up in the nurse's office for the same reason, but only our son needed to go to the hospital. Thank goodness she was able to diagnose that he was having an anaphylactic attack, administer the EpiPen, and call an ambulance while keeping us abreast of what was going on, or he may not be with us today. Support services like speech therapists have also been instrumental. Although our younger son Ryder does very well academically, he struggled with having people understand him when he uses words with an R in it. And since his name has 2 R's in it, it caused him a good amount of anxiety. So every introduction, was always followed by, "What's your name? Wider?" So with the speech services offered in our school district, he's now able to articulate properly and is better able to communicate with his peers and teachers. Lastly, but certainly not least, I want to show my support of the special interest teachers like music, gym, art, and library. These teachers provide the subjects that help to keep our kids well-rounded. Although our sons have always played sports and gym was the favorite class for both in elementary school, the exposure to the other subjects helped find a love for guitar and drums, an appreciation for certain types of art over others, and the use of the library, not just for getting books, but also for research. In my words now, these are only a few examples, but others will have more. And make no mistake that what might be considered a small decision has a trickle-down effect. We ask our teachers to be surrogate parents, although it shouldn't be that way.
I need to ask you to wrap it up for
Yes,
consideration
give
of
me
others, please.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
We ask them to be cheerleaders and coaches. We ask them to be mentors, friends, counselors, and in this day and age, we may even ask them to serve as protectors or security guards. And oh yeah, we also ask them to teach. We ask for all these roles, and the good teachers respond while the great ones don't need to be asked. Besides parents and guardians, who are our role models for fairness, compassion, service, patience, and persistence? The hours that my child, your child, spend with their teachers may constitute upwards of 40% of their awake time. Let's attract and retain these good and great teachers. Again, nothing you haven't heard before, just a reminder. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Belinda Brown, and I live in Malvern. My son Matthew attends 3rd grade at General Wayne Elementary School. My husband and I have had a tremendously positive experience with the school and the teachers at General Wayne. I'm here to support the need to retain these high-quality, skilled teachers in the Great Valley School District. Over the last 4 years, my son's teachers have been receptive, compassionate, accessible, knowledgeable, and most importantly, fun. From Mrs. DeMillion's kindergarten class, where my son learned to read in an upbeat, positive environment and still lights up when he sees his kindergarten teacher, to his 1st grade with Mrs. Salvatico, when a difficult situation occurred, she acted immediately and sensitively in addressing my son's worries. Not something to be taken lightly. She stepped out of her classroom to talk with him and encourage him through drawing a picture of his feelings on a piece of paper, making a huge breakthrough in that situation. On to 2nd grade with Mrs. Brown made my son so excited to go to school and learn. Now as a 3rd grader in Mrs. Dammeyer's class, she's encouraged him to be confident in reading while challenging himself. An education at General Wayne fosters the academic, social, physical, and community spirit within each child. My husband and I value this education and know the importance of the role our teachers have on making that a reality for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, real quick, if the comments got to do with the agenda items, you're more than happy to step at the microphone. If not, we'll have another comment section at the end for comments other than the agenda items. So. They're listed there, consent agenda items, preliminary budget approval, they're all on the,
It's actually the list that's what's for vote tonight. So anything that's listed up there, this is the time to speak, so you get to speak to us before we vote. If it's not listed up for vote, then you get to comment on anything at the end of the meeting.
that helps. That'll be at the end. All right, any more comments on anything that's being voted on at this point? All right. Just get my board docs back up, sorry about that. All right, the first thing up for approval is consent agenda items 7.01 through 7.11. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve 7.01 to 7.11.
And a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any questions or comments on any of these? All righty, Jen's still on the phone? All right. All right, all those in favor of motion? Jen?
Aye.
All right, the motion. Yep, motion passes 8-0. Next up is financial approvals. We will take these one by one. So the first thing up is approval for the preliminary budget, 8.01. Do I have a motion for approval?
Yes, I would like to move that we tax to Act 1 index 2.4%. My tablet has gone down, so if the board president would like that resolution read, I would ask the board secretary to read it.
Well, we're looking to pass the preliminary budget, so, which is not to tax to 2.4%, right? I mean, but that's not what are we approving the tax right now? No. We're preliminary budget. Gotcha, right.
So let me make the motion. I would move to approve the preliminary budget in the amount of, if somebody could give us that number, my tablet's gone.
Well, it's $105,700,000.
Thank you, $105,700,000.
All right, so I have a motion to approve the preliminary budget as listed here at $105,700,000. Do I have a second?
I'll second, and then I can ask a question, right?
I have a second. Any questions or comments?
Can we just go through again what the preliminary timeline is and what can happen between now and final approval?
I will turn that over to our secretary, who can give us the details.
Well, once approved, the preliminary budget will be open for public view, as it's been all along, actually. We have a requirement to put a state document out on display, which we will do. You have a copy of that in your stuff there. We will also do we have a pretty comprehensive budget that will be finalized once the board approves the preliminary budget, and we would get that up within the next week or so, as we've done for the past at least 24 years on that budget. You will have time to discuss it at the May 7th Finance Committee meeting, the May 14th work session, the May 21st board meeting, and then the final vote would be at the June 4th regular school board meeting, or special school board meeting for the budget. It is advertised as a regular school board meeting. In between then and now, our department will advertise it as we are required to do in the newspaper. It's still the antiquated newspaper ad that we still must do. So.
All right, any other questions or comments? Get your question answered, Amy? Just make sure, all right?
As far as a comment goes, I believe that the budget that was put together definitely represents the best recommendation of the superintendent and the administrative team as we asked for it. And I am grateful for all the work that was done, and I would encourage my colleagues to accept this as the preliminary budget.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
Just make sure. All those opposed? Motion passes 6-2. Next up is the Chester County Intermediate Unit Core Budget. I have a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments?
Ellen, you talked
Is
last
this
week.
the budget that we think might?
Go
Am
ahead.
I unmuted? I have a question.
Yep, you're unmuted.
Is this the budget that we said that? Thank you. Is this the budget that we said that might be somewhat inflated in cost, or is this the budget that we said that we were okay with how the cost went? I just want to make sure, because again, in the past with some of the IU budgets, we've been the only ones that say no to some of their increased year after year after year spending.
Yep, we'll turn it over to Ellen, who can answer for the IU.
Jen, we talked over the last couple weeks at the board meetings here that it's the marketplace budget that I believe we should spend our time with the additional, with the help of the other districts in the county. I believe that it's the marketplace budget that will find relief. The CCIU does need to operate. Everything that they have done has been within their goals of negotiations and budgeting on the marketplace or on this core budget. I'm not recommending that we turn it down. I'm recommending that we approve it. We've an exemplary CCIU, but then we really have to, over the next year, when we get to budget time again, make sure we address any cuts that could be made in the marketplace budget. Does that answer?
That does answer. I just wanted to make sure. I knew we had the two budgets, and I knew you were mostly concerned about the marketplace. I'm not sure if this was something that you also felt that we needed to send a message with.
Amy, did that answer for you?
It does. Are we approving just the core budget, or the core and marketplace and all the others pieces as well?
We are approving on this motion the core. The next one's the occupational ed, and then the marketplace is actually next month. All right, any other questions on the core budget? All those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. Next up is the Chester County Intermediate Unit's occupational education budget.
Move to approve.
Second?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. Next two, I think we can do together. First one is for an RFP for patient care and instructional aids and an agreement with the Lincoln Center for Family and Youth. So do I have a motion for approval of 804 and 805?
Motion.
Second? Thank you. Any questions or comments on these?
I have a question on the Lincoln Center. Just reading it, I think I understand that it's a contract for potentially a new provider of special education services. Is that what it is? I was trying to understand what it was from reading it exactly.
Yes, it is. And this agreement is in the event we would have students who would need to be placed there. We're putting the agreement in place. We have a number of other partners that offer these type services, but yes, it's for students who would have a specific need.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes 8-0. Next up is personnel items. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right.
I have to abstain for this. My wife's on the list.
No problem. All right. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
All right. Motion passes 7-0 with one abstention. All right. Next up is second reading and adoption, 10.02 and for policy changes, and 10.03 for policies to be rescinded. So do I have a motion for approvals of 10.02?
Move to approve 10.02 and 10.03.
All right. Second?
Second.
Any questions around these? All right, all those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes 8-0. There's also the policies for first reading that we'll be voting on next month. Special education plan approval. Have a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
And real quick, can we just get a summary of what this is for everybody?
Yes, Dr. Wexler had presented the plan to the board, and this is the plan that's in place that will be submitted to the state of how we will implement our pre-referral processes and our identification, as well as servicing students who have been identified for special education services. The plan was in place for public review for the last 28 days, and upon your approval, it will be submitted to the state, and then will be monitored based upon what we have agreed to in this plan.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments on it? We had a pretty good summary a month ago, so. All right, all those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. All right, that concludes our voting portion of the meeting. I will now reopen the microphone for public comment. Again, if you come to the podium, state your name, residency, and please try to limit your time to 3 minutes or less so there's time for others to speak. Thank you. Wait a minute. Chuck?
Can mute me, that's okay. My name is Melanie McGuire. I'm here, I was asked to speak on behalf of our wonderful teachers at Great Valley. I'm the mother of 3. I have an 8th grader, a 6th grader, and a 3rd grader. And next year I'll have one in each school, General Wayne Middle School and High School, so I'm having a hard time with that. But what I would like to share with you is that in my humble opinion, our teachers are essential to our community. They're invaluable. We as parents entrust our most valuable possessions in their qualified arms every day. My children are my life. Parenting is by far the toughest job in the world. We, spend our lives nourishing their minds, bodies, and souls, and rely on the teachers to do the same, starting at age 5. We help and expect them to help us raise adults someday. We rely on them to nurture them as we do. 9 years ago, when my oldest first stepped foot into General Wayne, the day I thought my heart was going to break in half, I had no idea that this was the start of beautiful relationships. Each of her teachers, starting with Mrs. DeMillion, have helped us raise our children. I've been consistently overwhelmed by not only the competency of our teachers, but the quality of who they are. Both my husband and I attended private schools, and we routinely revisit whether or not any of our children would benefit from that, and we always come to the same conclusion, that they're getting everything they need right here. I had some wonderful examples of the experiences we've had, but I decided instead I want to share with you an example of what defines my gratitude for these teachers. Last week, in the midst of a horrific tragedy that shook our community, we're all struggling to understand and deal with it. I got a phone call from my 6th grade son's teacher on Tuesday morning, and she said she's calling me from her private cell phone to tell me that she was very concerned about him. He's an extremely sensitive child that she has gotten to know very well and knows he's very sensitive. And she said he was trying to be brave, but was aware that because of his sensitive nature, he really needed some extra time. She, as much as she was struggling that day, took the time to spend with him that day and to stay in touch with me, reassure me, and help him at the same time. Our children live in a very different world than we grew up in, and as a parent, a teacher, and students, our expectations are higher, and so are the stakes. We really have to appreciate and value and compensate our teachers accordingly. Their value is truly immeasurable, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Megan Coggins. I'm here to speak on behalf of the teachers. My children both
Residency?
Malvern.
Okay, thank you.
My children both attend General Wayne. Joshua is in 5th grade, Maddie is in 2nd grade. My family moved to Malvern so our kids could be educated in an excellent school district, and we have not been disappointed. I cannot say enough good things about our teachers. They go above and beyond every day for the kids. My son Joshua has special needs, and the degree of commitment that our teachers have exhibited to help Joshua over the last 6 years has been second to none. Our teachers see Joshua's strengths and his opportunities and use them to create a plan for him to be successful. It's not just, let's just check those boxes on the IEP. They're really looking at Joshua as a whole person. Their continuous feedback and suggestions have proven they have the care that they have for him. Our teachers engage my family in a positive, collaborative way with objectives for making progress for the kids. Both of my kids have grown in areas where they've struggled, and I really attribute that to the hard work of our teachers. We need to continue to attract that kind of talent for years to come. On top of that, our teachers have responded to my emails while they're on break, while they're sick. One teacher has responded to an email over summer vacation while traveling overseas with her family. They take the time to get to know our kids. They are thoughtful in their feedback. They genuinely care about Joshua, Maddie, and all of their students. Our children should continue to receive this level of dedication and education that they're receiving today. The board should work with the teachers to provide them with what they need to give our kids the best education that they deserve. The teachers are with our children every day. Their feedback is critical to the district's continued success. So I ask that you please listen to them. Their impact to our children's lives is priceless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Richard Zapito, Malvern. I'm not a public speaker, so bear with me. I'm here on behalf of the teachers as well. Our family has had 4 children in Great Valley School District. One has gone from kindergarten, graduated last year from the high school. 3 are currently in Great Valley, 1 high school, 2 in General Wayne. All 4 actually attended General Wayne. Personal experiences, beginning with General Wayne, are too many to go into great detail, as you would imagine having 4 children in school. But I would like to touch on a few experiences that show just how incredible this district is, and it all comes down to the teachers, aides, special educators, support staff, and our personal experience, the nursing staff. We've had children who've had IEPs and struggled, but from the beginning in General Wayne, and then through middle school and high school, they grew as learners and thrived only because of the dedicated staff of teachers, special educators, and aides that the district chose to hire. There are too many to mention each by name, but each and every one of these teachers and aides were and are so talented, patient, and given of their time, and have gone that extra step to ensure that each student they are entrusted to help through difficult challenges succeed. They have all rose to these challenges and have allowed our children to thrive and ultimately succeed. So thank you, Great Valley. Another experience I'd like to share is about one of our sons, Tyler. Tyler was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes during Christmas break 2015 in 1st grade at age 7. Needless to say, our lives changed that day. We quickly learned all we could about his condition, as life as we knew it was going to be different. But from day one, the strength from Tyler is what helped my wife and I cope with this condition. He never once hesitated for blood sugar tests, a shot of insulin, or anything. The strength and composure he showed is what gave us the strength and composure to deal with this as a family. One of our concerns during the break was how we're going to handle this in school. Is the school even able to prepare? Is a school even prepared to deal with this condition? We, like most people who have never had experience with diabetes, didn't know if schools are prepared to handle such conditions. And after all, he had to be tested and dosed every few hours, given snacks in between meals to regulate his blood sugar. We were going were we going to have to change our work schedule to be there, test him, dose him, et cetera, during school? I emailed our principal, Mrs. Citrom, along with his teacher, Ms. Yook, and the school nurse, Mrs. Giltman, while we were still in the hospital. We received a reply back almost immediately, saying we would all meet the first day upon return from the break, and that they were able and prepared to assist in any way possible. This obviously helped us psychologically, knowing that the school was ready, willing, and able to assist. When we met, we were extremely impressed with General Wayne's preparedness and commitment to help Tyler. We found out Mrs. Giltman had students with diabetes and experience with every detail of what Tyler needed during the course of a day. She put our minds at ease from the very first day. Today, Tyler leads a typical 9-year-old student's life with the help of the most competent healthcare professional we know, Mrs. Giltman. I'd be remiss not to mention his teachers these past couple years, Ms. Yook, Ms. Cook, Mrs. D'Ottavio, Mrs. Dameyer, who have all been incredibly helpful with Tyler these past couple years. It is because the district sets the bar so high in hiring these high-quality educators, support staff, and most importantly to us, the nursing staff, requiring not just good educators and staff, but exceptional educators and staff, that this district is one of the most sought-out districts for parents looking to find the very best in education and services for their children. The district needs to keep up this level of excellence to ensure our children continue to receive the type of quality education and support that has kept this district in the top tier of districts in the state and in the country. Our taxes.
I'm going to have to ask you to wrap it up.
Okay.
Quickly.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
We implore the board and the district to continue to negotiate in good faith to ensure the contract is ratified before the current contract expires. Failure to reach a fair and equitable agreement before the current contract expires will lead to uncertainty and is not fair to the children or families of the district. My family is truly blessed by the school district, by the Great Valley School District. We thank you for everything that you've done for our family and only pray that we can continue this path of excellence. And to do so is to ensure that the teachers and staff of the district are compensated appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matt Diamond. I'm a member of Malvern, along with my wife. And we have four kids, three which are currently in General Wayne Elementary School and one that will be coming into kindergarten next year. And I just wanted to speak on behalf of just how impressed my wife and I have been with the experience that our kids have received at General Wayne Elementary School. Year in and year out, we talk about just how much care, how much kindness goes into the education of our kids, how much they feel valued in the school. We have met so many wonderful teachers that go above and beyond and just do the little things that make such a big difference in the lives of our kids. And we feel such a very gratefulness to be a part of this school community. And it's because of the hard work that the administration and the great teachers in Great Valley do for our kids. And so, and on a personal note, both my wife and I are both teachers in the Tredyffrin Easttown School District. I teach at Valley Forge Elementary School, and my wife teaches at Devon Elementary School. And we were going through contract negotiations ourselves last year. We received a contract that we felt was very fair. And I have to say that it made us as teachers feel very validated. And I felt that it reverberated through the schools as just motivation to want to continue to work that hard for the kids. And to do the little things, like we said, that make a big difference. And I know how much you guys value the teachers, and I know how much you value the kids that walk through those doors every day. And so as you guys go through your negotiation, just continue to try to think of a contract that really helps these teachers to feel validated, and just is something that you all feel comfortable with, but also really does continue to make that Great Valley such a great place for people like myself and my wife and my kids to go through each day. So I thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Heather O'Connor from Malvern. After 20 years of teaching in the Tredyffrin Easttown School District, I know what today expects of teachers. I also know what a high-quality teacher is
that daily goes above and beyond for the benefit of the individual students in addition to all the students in their class. When my son started in kindergarten 2 years ago, I couldn't help but to compare notes, and what I found has been truly remarkable. It's the teachers that make or break the child's year. They are critical for the classroom environment, dynamics, and structure. They are the backbone of the school and what makes General Wayne Elementary such an amazing place that I am so proud to call my son's school. I have a son with special needs who went from hating everything about school before kindergarten to an enthusiastic, positive, happy child every day when he gets off and when he's going on to the bus too. The difference clearly is the teachers. I can't say enough about the love, empathy, support, and energy this school and teachers have given my child as well as myself and my husband. We love being so involved and giving back to a place that gives their all each and every day to my child and so many other ones. After starting this school year in TE without a contract, I've seen the negative impact it has had on the schools, students, parents, and teachers. What normally is an exciting time for all those involved became an anxiety-provoking and stressful situation. Instead of the teachers giving their all to getting to know their students, their class IEPs, GIEPs, 504s, classroom routines, decorations and environment, new activities, lessons plans, parents, and most of all, the students' personalities, such as their likes, their dislikes, their needs, their sensitivities. We had to spend a lot of the time on negotiating committees and various meetings before and after school and on weekends. The beginning of the year is crucial to set the tone and excite the kids. At the beginning, for us, the morale was low. It definitely impacted the flow of many students and teachers' year. We did come to a consensus finally, but would have rathered it to be way earlier than it was. We did lose a great amount of teachers as a result. Please don't let this happen here. The teachers are gems, and I pray and I beg, please, please take good care of them for our kiddos' sakes and the sake of the community. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Would like to, my name is Walter Meisner. I live in the Charlestown Township. Would like to say thank you for all of your service on the board. It's greatly appreciated, all the work that you do. I think you've heard a number of comments this evening that are very passionate from parents and speak very much to the truth of this district. We have a child in 5th grade in Charlestown and a child in 2nd grade in General Wayne. And so we have the, I can say, privilege of being able to experience two different communities within the Great Valley District. And I have to say our experience has been overwhelmingly positive. We have very, very little, if any, negative to say. We moved to the area maybe 5, 6 years ago and had the choice of moving anywhere in the area. And we chose Great Valley, I should say, because of the reputation comes and the wonderful ratings that come in rankings. But more than that, it was an environment that we wanted to be a part of. And I think that if I can say one thing that comes to mind, I was sitting over in the corner there, and I'm looking at the wall, and the wall says, participate in the local and the global community. And the one thing I wanted to say is tonight we talk about budgets. It's been, a number of statistics have come up, and I think it's very easy for us to distill things down to numbers and to budgets. But there's something that's much greater than that, and that is our children. As parents, we're very passionate about that. And numbers and statistics can all go out the window, especially when we talk about something that's global. And if our vision truly states something that's global, then we also have to think that our school is not something that's just compared locally around a community, around a county, but it also has to be world class. And Great Valley is something that currently is world class. And I simply compel you, I ask you, I plead with you to keep it that way. I know you have a very, very tough job. You have to make the numbers work, and at the end of the day, they have to work in the end. But as someone has already said this evening, you can also make it a compelling argument for us to keep and retain and recruit world-class talent to teach our children, because that is something that I'm very passionate about. I think there's a lot of parents here that are very passionate about. And we've seen through our experience over the last years that the teachers are very passionate about too. So I simply make this request that when you're looking through the budget, make something that's fair, that's equitable, and that is also compelling for us to keep our talent here in Great Valley. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bruce Chambers again, 17 James Thomas Road. I have a great appreciation for teachers too. My wife is a retired teacher. My son is a teacher. I have 2 nieces who are teachers. So I am fully aware of what teachers do. I have nothing against teachers. I think the school district here is a good school district. What I'm asking the board to do is to have some fiscal responsibility and keep in mind the taxpayers who pay for this. The reason I sent you those numbers about the Unionville salaries is because Unionville exceeds the academic results of Great Valley every year. But yet their teachers are being paid thousands and thousands of dollars less. We have the most lucrative contract in the county. Money isn't the answer here. Money doesn't create good people. Management does, objectives, and pay that is good, and that is something that is earned. You're spending, your salaries and benefits have gone up 17% in 2 years. The budget's gone up 39% in 6 years. Those are incredible numbers. We probably do have good teachers here. I don't know. I don't have kids in the school anymore. But the teachers and the personnel make up 70% of your budget. And when one school district who's doing better than us is paying a lot less, and it's a lot less, I gave you the numbers, it raises a question about how fiscally responsible you guys are really being. So I'd ask you to take a quick look at the budget again before June, and please do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other comments, I will open the floor up for any board comments. I just want to say at this point, board has the utmost respect for our teachers and staff. Last week was a great example with the tough situation in middle school, elementary, and into the high school. A lot of support for parents, students, above and beyond the call of duty. And I think Amy hit on it earlier. It was well appreciated, and it's what this community is all about, so thank you.
Dave, I'd like to make one comment concerning where we are in our budget. We approved a preliminary budget tonight. This board does not stop working in budget building until we vote on a final budget, which will be in June. So again, I just want to repeat it because I get frustrated hearing how we sometimes end our meetings. So I want to be very clear that the public understands our budget process is not over since we just voted on a preliminary budget. We are not done our work. Our business manager and administrative team and superintendent will be working on the nuts and bolts of this budget until we vote to finalize it. So I just wanted everyone to know that.
Jen, you got a comment?
Dave, I have a comment.
Yep.
I do. I know that when we voted for the budget approval, we had 6 board members who said yes and 2 who said no with no discussion. And I really feel like at this point in the stage, and this is only my feeling, that I really need to understand from the other board members either, A, what are they looking for that causes them to say that they're not voting for the budget, or what other information that they need, because I feel like we just keep running in circles with some of this information. And I know that there's not a whole lot that we can do from the standpoint of contractually mandated payments through the budget. I mean, that's not the right mechanism for that. That's why we're in negotiation. But I'm just confused as to what some of the other board members are looking for at this moment, and I feel like it could be something that would help me in my decision making. So I would just ask that, because I believe we have one more Finance Committee as a whole meeting coming up before we vote on the full budget, and I would just ask that we really explore that at that time, because I feel like I'm in the dark a little bit, and that I'm missing something.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of discussion, so like you said, there wasn't a lot of discussion on it tonight, but I think in the past there's been a bunch, and like you said, there'll be more in the future, so.
But I'm just concerned that I want to make sure if someone is voting no, that we all understand why, because it might be a reason that we all might feel that way. I just feel like I'm not totally understanding what people want to see differently or what they want different at this moment, other than just the number to be left.
All right, fair.
I want to comment on that. It would really be nice if everyone explained their vote, but quite honestly, we are elected officials, so we can vote without explanation. It's tough to not understand the dynamics. Some people voted, but what you have to keep in mind is we are voting on a specific motion that's made, and it really is a yes or no answer for all 9 of us. It would be nice to have the dialogue so that we could explain or at least understand one another's positions, but there's also politics for some people too, and sometimes that's a reason to not have dialogue. But however it comes out, I think that we overstep with the respect that we have to have for one another if we continue or we say, yes, let's all have a meeting some night and talk about getting information from one another, because the bottom line is we really do not have to give an explanation of a vote.
Ellen, I'll agree with that. And I'd like to address your comment about votes being political, because I think that's a step too far.
No, I didn't say votes were political. I said there's also politics that come into it for other people too. I'm not saying anything, anybody specific.
Okay, well then,
There's a lot of reasons.
Maybe I misread your comment. Okay.
I mean, just so we're all clear, right? I mean, there's no, bottom line is we don't have to say why.
Correct.
Board members could sit here and not say a word and just vote. We are required to vote. And hopefully we have dialogue and we get information from everybody. That's why there's 9 of us, so. All right.
I guess my question is, I keep asking them this fundamental misunderstanding of what's being stated. I mean, we've been talking about this since September of last year, and I think everyone's positions are pretty clear. So it's this whole, I don't understand, no one has to talk, everybody has to talk. I mean, we've been talking about this for what, about 6 to 9 months now? There aren't any surprises. There's no ball that's being hidden. I think the positions that people have staked out are pretty clear, so I'm not really quite sure what you're looking for. But the fact of the matter is we're spending a lot of money. And I think it's only fair to understand why we're spending as much as we are. We've asked for potential budget reductions, areas to cut back in spending, and we just keep building the budget every year based on the last year's spend. And we spend more and more and more. And I think that's a position that several board members, including those who voted yes tonight, have taken in these particular meetings in the last 6 to 9 months. So it's, there's no ball that's being hidden. I think it's been painstakingly clear. So those are my comments. I hope that answers your question, Jen. I'm not really quite sure I will, but we'll see.
And Jen, I'd also like to...
No, it's okay, and I'm just trying to, wait, if I can just say to Phil, this may be the heart of it, I just may be missing something, because I know that, and I totally agree, there are lots of us who are looking at lots of different things. When the administration came to us and said, here's the list of the things that we can cut, and they went person by person by person, and no one was willing to cut any of those things, then that's at the point where I think that my confusion started. And I think that's, and if it's a deeper dive that we're looking, if there's reports that we're just not getting, we got pretty detailed reports at the Finance Committee meeting that were kind of bucket by bucket reports. I do have some things that I'm going to be asking for in the future to help me understand where we are as far as statistical deviations now that I know that there's other things possible in Forecast 5. But I really honestly am just trying to figure out, when the district says, what is it that you would like to see us cut, and we say nothing, I don't understand where they're supposed to, I guess, go from there. I understand economies, I totally get that, and that is something that I am 100% behind how we figure that out, and I believe with some of the things that I learned at the national meeting that there might be some more information there that we can use. But as far as like cutting actual things and moving the number, I'm just a little bit confused. The only thing that I've heard us really talk about is we didn't want to cut the psychologists, and we wanted to make sure that our numbers of teachers were relatively neutral based on what our requirements were through special ed. So I think that's where my difficulty comes. And it's not anything that I really want to necessarily get into, but we keep talking about different budget things. And I guess I just want to make sure that for me personally, that I'm not missing something big that someone else sees.
All right.
That's all I'm asking.
No problem. Mary?
Yeah, Jen, honestly, my primary concern is the use of the funds that are coming off of debt service. They're already spent. There's several $1 million that could be put into student programming, student services that I think are very much needed. I understand that deferred capital expenses are not desirable and that there are capital expenditures that need to be made. However, I just take a little bit of concern with the fact that all of that money from debt services is already spent.
Can I just comment? We didn't use it, we're not slating any of that money for student services. It's for, yes, it's for capital, but not student services.
I
Okay.
don't agree with it going. I don't agree with all of it going to capital.
So on that note, Mary, if there's something else that you need from me from facilities to try to help explain that, I am all over that, because I'm trying to have everyone understand. We deferred a lot of maintenance for a lot of years, saying that we were going to take that money that was coming off debt service and do some of this deferred maintenance that we've been putting off. And quite frankly, we have some major systems that are just not, we're hoping that they're going to wait until they hit the years that are already on the capital budget, because they're already failing. That's how we had $500,000 in unanticipated expenses this year. So if there's a way that I can present that differently, or please let me know, because I'm all over that. I'm happy to do that.
Nope, I mean.
Jen, I understand, I just don't agree with it.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments?
Just one, again, with the policy committee, that we can sit here and vote on these complex, sometimes confusing things without questions at the table. The policy committee has done a great job, and I am so grateful because it's very helpful to me.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Jen?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. Thank you for coming.